Let's stop pretending this was random. Let's stop pretending it was old news resurfaced by haters.
No.
These yacht photos that dropped in January 2026 were brand new to the public eye. Never seen before. Never debated in grainy paparazzi threads. Never explained away with, "It was just a friend's boat." High-resolution images. Private deck shots. Interior lounge candids. Meghan Markle, relaxed, smiling, glass in hand, surrounded by the kind of wealth most people will never breathe the same air as. Monaco. Mediterranean circuit.
Peak season.
And here's the part that stops the cute narrative cold. These photos are not from her royal years. They are not from after she became famous. They are not from post-Suits glow-up. They are from 2008 to 2012, the exact window when Meghan Markle was publicly telling every interviewer she was a struggling actress, barely scraping by in Hollywood. Struggling actresses do not summer on 50 to 100 million euros yachts. Deal or no-deal briefcase girls do not casually appear at closed, invitation-only gatherings where the guest list is vetted harder than a G7 summit. Cable TV residuals do not buy entry into those rooms. According to multiple sources who actually move in those elite international circles, not tabloid stringers, not royal reporters, people who've been on those decks, these weren't birthday parties or charity sales. These were strategic networking vessels. Floating boardrooms disguised as leisure, attended by international billionaires, Saudi-connected elites, Gulf power brokers, and the facilitators who connect them all. You don't buy a ticket. You are selected, vetted, vouched for. And once you're in, you're watched. How you carry yourself, who you speak to, who speaks to you, how discreet you are. So the question isn't, was Meghan on a yacht? The photos answer that with brutal clarity. The real questions are, who put her there? Who paid for the travel, the wardrobe, the access? Who vouched for a working actress with no major credits, no family fortune, no visible high net worth connections at the time? And why, after all these years, is someone deciding the protection is over? Because if these images were innocent, just networking, just a friend's boat, just right place, right time, her team would already be flooding the zone with context. They'd be posting side-by-side timelines. They'd be naming the host. They'd be saying this was X's yacht. He's a longtime friend from Y. They'd be doing what powerful people do when the story is harmless. Drown the noise in detail. Instead, radio silence. Not even a no comment. Just nothing. And silence in elite circles isn't confusion. It's calculation. Now, let's get mathematical for a second, because feelings don't pay Marina fees. 2008 to 2012 public income sources for Meghan Markle, verifiable via IMDb, tax filings referenced in old interviews, and her own words. Minor guest spots, CSI, New York, Without a Trace, Fringe, etc. Brief recurring roles deal or no-deal briefcase model, 2006 to 2010. One commercial there no series lead until Suits in 2011. That income bracket funds rent in a nice part of LA, maybe a decent car, occasional trips. It does not fund repeated appearances on super yachts in Monaco during Grand Prix week or multi-week Mediterranean circuits with people whose net worth starts at 9 zeros. Someone covered flights, private or first-class long haul. Someone covered the wardrobe that makes you look like you belong because showing up underdressed or out of place gets you blacklisted fast. This wasn't a one-summer fluke. The photos span years. Multiple vessels. Multiple seasons. That's not luck. That's pattern. That's support. That's investment. And in those circles, investment always comes with expected return. Sources who've worked those exact yacht circuits describe Meghan's presence with one chilling phrase: strategic social placement. Not a random plus one. Not the cute actress someone felt sorry for. A woman deliberately introduced into high-value environments because someone believed she could serve a function, socially, relationally, reputationally, strategically. Once inside, you're evaluated. Quietly.
Permanently.
The leaked photos show something even more uncomfortable. She doesn't look like an outsider. She doesn't look nervous or starstruck. She looks comfortable, like someone who already knows the hierarchy, who knows who matters, who knows how to listen more than she speaks, who knows how to build relationships without leaving a public trail. That level of ease over multiple years doesn't happen by accident. It means she wasn't being tolerated. She was being kept. And people in those rooms don't keep you around unless you're useful. Now we get to the part mainstream media still won't touch with a 10-foot pole. Multiple images allegedly place her at private gatherings attended by Saudi-connected figures and Gulf state elites, not public charity galas, not open to the press events, but closed deck, no press allowed spaces during peak Monaco and Mediterranean seasons. In that world, you do not end up on those guest lists unless you are vetted, background, discretion, no loose ends. You are vouched for by someone already trusted. You are deemed safe, useful, and above all, discreet. This isn't Hollywood networking. This is international power culture. And discretion is currency. So when photos from those exact environments leak in 2026, after being buried for nearly 15 years, it signals something very specific. The protection has been lifted. Someone inside those networks decided Meghan Markle no longer deserves the cone of silence. And that should make everyone pause. Because Saudi and Gulf elites don't allow loose ends. If discretion is removed, it's usually because someone violated an unspoken rule. Or because someone decided the value of continued protection no longer outweighs the cost. The timing isn't random either. These images surface right as Meghan begins pushing a new chapter. Lifestyle brand soft launch, Netflix projects, curated comeback, interviews, polished family content. A reset, a rebrand, and suddenly, surgically, receipts appear. Not all at once. Not a full archive dump. Just enough clear, high-res fragments to prove authenticity without exhausting the supply. That is not outrage bait. That is leverage. A quiet reminder. The silence you enjoyed was conditional, and that condition may no longer be met. Let's pick up exactly where the photos leave off. After years of appearing in these ultra-exclusive yacht circles, summers in Monaco, Mediterranean legs with people whose names never hit Forbes because they prefer it that way, something shifts for Meghan Markle in 2011. She lands Suits. Not after a decade of breakout indie films, not after viral auditions or major agency pushes.
Suddenly,
After documented years of high-level, high-cost access she couldn't self-fund. Suits becomes her launch pad, steady paycheck, visibility, credibility. But the groundwork? That was laid on decks she never publicly mentioned. Fast forward to 2016. Meghan meets Prince Harry. Not through royal channels. Not through Hollywood casting directors. Not through a charity gala or film premiere. Through Soho House. And not just any Soho House employee, Marcus Anderson. Marcus isn't a random club host. He's Soho House's director of membership relations, the gatekeeper who decides who gets in, who gets upgraded, who gets introduced to whom. Soho House isn't a bar or a restaurant. It's a curated ecosystem designed to blend wealth, media, politics, influence, and ambition behind velvet ropes. Meghan didn't stumble into Soho House as a wide-eyed newcomer in 2016. By then, she had nearly a decade of experience navigating elite power spaces, reading rooms, cultivating quiet alliances, positioning herself as someone worth elevating, learning exactly how to be useful without being obvious. Women who thrive in Gulf elite yacht circuits for years don't get blindsided by palaces. They get strategic. So when people say she was overwhelmed by royal life, when they say she didn't understand hierarchy, when they say she was naive to power dynamics, that narrative crashes hard against the evidence. She had already survived and succeeded in rooms far more opaque and unforgiving than Kensington Palace. Now the most dangerous question: why are these photos surfacing in January 2026? Not in 2015 during the engagement glow. Not in 2018 during the wedding fairy tale peak. Not in 2020 during Megxit. Not in 2021 during Oprah. Not in 2023 during Spare or Endgame. January 2026, right as Meghan begins a soft reset. Lifestyle brand teases. New Netflix projects in development. Curated family content. Polished interviews positioning her as relatable yet aspirational again. A comeback, a rebrand, a narrative refresh. And suddenly, surgically, these images appear. Not a full archive dump that would end the story in one blow. Not blurry old screenshots. Clear, high-res fragments. Just enough to prove authenticity without giving away the entire hand. That is textbook leverage. A quiet message from someone who once protected the story. We still have more. The silence you enjoyed was conditional, and that conditioned may have expired. According to sources familiar with how these elite international networks operate, materials like this are almost never leaked for public outrage alone. They're held for years, treated as never to be discussed insurance. When they surface, it's because someone decided the value of continued protection no longer outweighs the benefit of applying pressure. And pressure isn't always about destruction. Sometimes it's about reminder, about realignment, about making sure certain people remember who holds the archive. The response from Meghan's camp? Still nothing. No denial. No, here's the context, it was a friend's boat. No named host. No timeline clarification. No, these were charity events pivot. No legal threat. No nothing. That silence isn't confusion. It's calculation. Because if the photos were innocent networking, the team would flood the zone with receipts. If there were harmless explanations, they'd be circulating by now. If there were counter-images or guest list proof showing this was all above board, they'd be front and center. Instead, radio silence. And the longer it stretches, the louder the unanswered questions become. Who paid for the travel, berths, wardrobe? Who vouched her into those vetted guest lists? Who facilitated repeated access over multiple years? What relationships were built there? And most chilling, what else is still being held back? Sources claim these leaked photos are not the full archive. They're samples, proof of life drops, fragments meant to show authenticity without exhausting the supply. Additional materials reportedly exist. Travel records, invitations, guest lists, correspondence, testimonies from people who witnessed how those connections were built and maintained. The people who control that information don't need trending hashtags. They don't need public applause. They just need her to know they still have it. And when discretion ends in those circles, it doesn't end with a bang. It ends quietly, one controlled release at a time. This isn't a scandal exploding. This is a warning phase. The truth sitting underneath it all. The one that doesn't need screaming to hurt. Power has a long memory. It remembers who was protected. It remembers who was elevated. It remembers who, after the doors were opened, may have broken unspoken rules. For years, Meghan Markle's past stayed buried beneath reinvention, titles, media control, and narrative mastery. But narratives don't erase history. They only delay it. These photos didn't emerge because people suddenly got curious. They emerged because silence expired. And once silence is gone, the past stops being private. It becomes relevant.
This isn't really about yachts.
It isn't even about money. It's about access. It's about who opened the doors. It's about who benefited. It's about who decided. In January 2026, they were done protecting the story. Because when the people who once guarded your past decide they're finished staying quiet, they don't rush. They release just enough to let the truth breathe. And that's exactly what we're watching now. Not an ending, a beginning.